You come on out over here and we talk over here. We want this press conference.
And some of them stay over here.
Press conference is basically just going to tell you exactly what I'm going to tell you.
We want to represent the people in the press conference. We need to be here.
All right, come on, back up, everybody. No. What I'm going to tell you is basically what we were talking about inside. We've got people in there who are going to talk about what needs to happen in this community to fix the problems that we have and solve those issues. Kenosha has a history of trying to do the right thing. We don't know the police. You ask why?
Y'all would have fucking arrested him if y'all were trying to do the right thing. Michael Bell's killer would be doing the right thing if y'all locked his ass up too.
You want to know why you asked why you can't get in at the point in time? Because you weren't even willing to let me, who I came out to talk to you.
You ain't a black light. You not a black light. And your wife won't show the white light. Don't matter.
We wanted to join the press conference. We merged our press conference with the mayor's because we wanted to let the community know that the civil rights organizations and other organizations in Kenosha are very concerned, and we're here to assist the family. We're here to support the community. We are here to work with the mayor and our elected officials and the Kenosha Police Department to see that those held accountable are brought to that we have a fair and equal process during the investigation. That's going to be an independent investigation. So our civil rights organizations are here. We are monitoring the situation. We'll continue to give updates to the community. And we offer our deepest sympathy to the family of Jake Blake. Not sure, what the status is there, but that's the purpose of today, to unite the community, to support the community, and let you know that our civil rights organizations are here for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to note on this sort of tragic day, the circumstances that this community has where one of our individuals was tragically shot. Now the community is expressing anger and rage, and the healing has not yet been able to begin in our community. So I want to talk briefly about the process by which we now try to get justice for all the parties who are involved in this case, and that includes not only Mr. Blake, but the officers at the scene as well. That process is mandated by statute, so the way that process works is to specifically have a chance for people to have an investigation that is neutral, that is fair, and that is thorough. And so what happens now is, by statute, the KPD, the Kenosha Police Department, has asked for the Division of Criminal Investigation, DCI, to be the investigating agency. We are fortunate that the investigators at DCI are persons who are the most experienced in the entire state at being able to conduct investigations of officer-involved shootings. They are also a completely independent agency. And so what happens right now is that investigation has begun, but it's at its earliest stages. When that investigation is completed, and I'll ask the Attorney General, who's here, to talk to you about that part of the process. Then the investigation results, so the materials gathered, will be given to the Kenosha District Attorney's Office. I have and at that point we'll review those things, and really the District Attorney's Office is tasked with something very narrow. We're asked to make two determinations based on the evidence that is presented. One, did any officer in this case commit any crimes? And two, are there any crimes that we believe were committed that we can prove beyond a reasonable doubt? If those two things are concluded as a yes, then criminal charges would be brought at the end of that process. If for some reason that is not the determination, then in the spirit of transparency, what is then demanded and what will happen is that all of the materials that the District Attorney's Office reviewed will then be immediately available to the public. so that they'll be able to make their own conclusions. And the district attorney's office, in fact, will, in writing, explain any conclusions that we get out of the evidence. The U.S. Attorney's Office, the federal prosecutors, have reached out offering their assistance today. It's my hope that they will do a parallel civil rights investigation, so the feds also police and prosecute any alleged police misconduct. And so I'm hoping they will do an investigation that takes place at the same time, which will allow this community to heal sooner, because independent prosecuting agencies will be able to make determinations at the same time about whether any criminal charges will be produced. The Attorney General's office has also reached out. Their prosecuting agency has also reached out offering assistance, and I hope that I'll be able to get their assistance to review some of the evidence as well. We're going to try to do this as quickly as we can from the District Attorney's office, but what is necessary for everyone to remember is that these kind of huge decisions in a community that's hurting badly as we are today are not decisions that can be made in haste, and they are not decisions that can be made before we have the complete information to make fair and just decisions. So we expect to do that. We expect this process to continue. And we ask people to be as patient as they can. We support all advocacy that is peaceful. I've had thousands of emails today from people who are quite appropriately expressing their strong feelings about this case. There are people advocating in the streets and doing that peacefully, and we also applaud and agree with their right and their ability to have a real conversation. So we ask people for every bit of patience they can muster in these difficult times.
I just want to make a brief comment this afternoon. First, I want to thank the mayor, the city of Kenosha, the county, for inviting me to speak. I'm not an elected official. I'm a citizen, much like those that you see outside in the streets, in this room right now. I understand in the most intimate of ways the anger and the fear and the frustration that we see on our streets. I understand where that need for justice comes from. I applaud those that are exercising their rights, their First Amendment rights, to gather and speak and address the pain in this community. And as difficult as it is, and no, I'm not the black guy at this press conference here to say that, I need lasting change, and I need us to engage in this in a way that moves forward. Because all this is great. The attention on this issue helps us drive home that this community needs justice. But a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, these cameras will be gone. Most of these protesters will be gone. But those of us in this city whose loved ones, whose livelihoods, and whose hearts are here will still be here. I need to do everything you can to help us find justice in this case for everyone, and a lasting justice for this community. The divisions that we see played out nationally and statewide need to end with this. There is no they or them. This is one community. That needs to end. That's how we find ourselves in these positions and how we found ourselves in this position in this city. We all live minutes from each other, seconds from each other. We are neighbors, and we need to work together during this and moving forward. Thank you for your time.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tim Mahone. I am a longtime resident here in Kenosha. Born and raised 2 blocks away from where Mr. Blake was shot. I received a call from my sister and advising me of the situation, and immediately came home so that we could do what we normally do, and that's come together as a community to protect and watch over our neighborhood, watch over our kids, and watch over our families. I want to be very clear that the video was very disappointing, very disturbing, but we don't have all the facts. The Mahone family sends its prayers to the Blake family and his children so that they recover and they heal from the memories and the pain of that awful evening. As you heard earlier, justice will prevail, and we have to give justice time to deliver. But I'm a longtime resident here, and I'm asking all of you to remain calm. I'm asking all of you to protect your children. I'm asking all of you, if you choose to protest peacefully and non-violently. My mother, Mary Lou, and my father, Arthur, worked very hard so that all of us could live in this community safely and quietly and warmly and protect each other as we play up and down the streets. And when moments like this come, we are to come together to make it better. When moments like these come, we take our time and we're patient and we listen to each other, regardless of your race and your color and your creed. Yes, I'm hurt. So all the civil rights organizations that were here, LULAC, NAACP, the Mahone Fund, the Mahone family, we have the mayor, all our elected officials, County Executive Jim Cruiser, Wirch, Onstead, Tip. They know this community wants to come together and work hard to make this better. Please don't destroy our community. Ladies and gentlemen, please pray that Mr. Blake heals and recovers, and that justice prevails.
First, I want to start with what the role of the Wisconsin Department of Justice is in the investigation relating to the officer-involved shooting that happened yesterday in Kenosha. Under Wisconsin law, in certain cases, an independent investigating agency is brought in to conduct investigations. In this case, as in many other cases involving officer-involved shootings, the Wisconsin Department of Justice has been brought in. And our role is to be an independent investigating agency. We are a statewide law enforcement agency, and our goal is very simple. We are going to vigorously and fully investigate the facts of this case. And in this case, as in any other case that we investigate, our pursuit of justice is going to be unwavering. Now, we don't make the prosecution decision in this case. That's a decision that will be made ultimately by District Attorney Gravely. But we will be working closely with his office as additional facts and evidence are uncovered so that we work closely together. We understand that there is a need for this investigation to move swiftly, and our goal is to move swiftly with this investigation, but we are only going to do so to the extent that it is consistent with protecting the integrity of this investigation, because it is vital that we get as full and thorough an investigation as possible so we can pursue justice fully in this case. I also want to mention, I saw that Governor Evers has declared a special session. It is vital that people who have been speaking up for months now around the state be heard. It is vital that our elected officials hear directly from people. We have some of our elected officials here, and I'm sure that they will be listening to people's voices. Those voices need to be represented in the debates that we have, and we do need to reform our criminal justice system. So I am hopeful that we will have many, many voices from around the state at those discussions. But my commitment to you is that the Department of Justice will fully and thoroughly investigate this case. So with that, I wanted to open it up for questions.
Can you tell us, sir, was Mr. Blake armed?
I'm not going to comment on the details of the investigation for a few reasons. First and foremost, because this is an ongoing investigation, we don't want to comment on the details in a way that might impact the integrity of the investigation. We will release certain information as the investigation moves forward, but always our first priority is protecting the integrity of the investigation.
Well, one of the things the city has been doing is have been working with the faith-based organizations in an attempt to deal with racism throughout the community and the issues of how that impacts the community. So how it impacts employment, how it impacts police-community relationships, how it impacts education. So we've been putting together a package on that and have been working on it for quite a while. And we're fairly close to having it launched. Actually, it was one of the reasons that I had some of the clergy coming today, because they have been taking the lead on that, because I think it's important for people to understand that the community has, no community is I guess my old phrase that I use a lot is that a community is only as strong as its weakest neighborhood. And I think that's with people too. If we don't work together, it's not going to work at all. So we need to find ways to communicate, find ways of being compassionate with each other and willing to listen to each other. And that's, I think, probably the toughest part we're dealing with right now. People are mad, people are upset, and there's a lot of reasons for that, a lot of good reasons for that. But in the end, the only way this country and this community survives is if we learn to listen. And right now, I'm afraid we're having trouble doing that. So part of the goal was to bring the clergy in, bring in activists, bring in the different individuals throughout the community, and have them work with us in trying to solve the problem. I was in touch with a gentleman from the Department of Revenue, or Department of Justice, Federal Department of Justice, to come in and work with us in our community. And he has put in the request to do so. So hopefully that will be another individual to come in and bring resources to the community and help the community to heal. I think in the case of Tim, you hit it on the head. You know, the community needs to heal. We need to understand that people are hurting. We also need to make sure people understand that you have to listen to each other. Without that, nothing works.